I know this is going to be an action-packed call, so I am super excited to bring on to our team call a couple of amazing speakers today. They work so seamlessly hand in hand with each other. It's so fun to watch them, truly, you guys. Becca Kruger and Heidi Fish are going to share about how to prep for celebration. I know you guys, we have 100 tickets out in the hopper for our team, which I realize some of those aren't assigned. So maybe more 70 to 80, but that's still amazing. So many people go on a celebration. Even if you're not going, open your ears, because I think you'll find value in this call. And then after they talk, we'll go into really formally, officially kick off the 90-day game plan or 90-day sprint, as I heard them call it a lot today. So we'll do that, but first I really am excited to hear, really going into an event, you're going to get the most out of it by actually prepping. And I won't take any of their thunder. I know they're going to cover that, but you'll want to listen. So go ahead, ladies.
Awesome. Thank you. So we tried to do a variety of tips, both specific nitty-gritty things and just overall, tips on going to events. So without further ado, I'm going to kick it off with tip number 1. And that is that you are responsible for your own experience at this event. We will give you tips, and your team and, sideways and up and down are there to help you and support you. But ultimately, how your experience goes is up to you. And that kind of has 2 meanings for me. One is that it's not up to your upline or your mentor to be holding your hand and telling you where everything is and, kind of handing it to you. You really need to take that responsibility. But that it's also, if you're with a group of people and they're there to just really have a great time and you're really serious about building your business, you can choose to not bow out and go to the pool or stay up late drinking so that you don't get there on time. You can choose to not partake in those things if it's going to affect your experience. And then the second part of that is, if there's something that you need for yourself to honor what you need, whether it's, getting up early and going to work out, or, taking a break in the middle of the day and going to your room and meditating just so that you don't burn out by the end of the event, because that's kind of how I roll. I need some of that downtime. At Celebration, there's lots of social events, and sometimes you need to say no to them just to honor what you need as a person. So you are responsible for your own experience at the event. So that's number 1.
Okay. Number 2. So Heidi kind of covered that one too. It's basically, there's a lot of social events that happen during this. If you look at that schedule that was posted on the Celebration page, the whole day, every day can be packed. And like Heidi said, if you need that time to slow down, rest, make sure you do that. If you function better on all that energy and all that action, by all means, take part in it. But make sure you aren't wearing yourself ragged so that you can actually get what you want out of the experience during the day too.
Yeah. If you're in the upper half of start, don't feel like you need to go to the start party that starts at 10 p.m. Maybe I'm just the only one that thinks that sounds really, really late to start a party. I'm going to be in bed by then, but anyway. Number 3, this is more of a logistics thing. If you've never been to NYKO or Barbie's going to start the start party, you'll have to tell me how it goes. If you've never been to NYKO or Celebration before, they often release products at the event, and it's really hard to wait until you get home to purchase those products. I mean, you can have them delivered to home for free, but you'll probably want to leave room in your bag for some products of some type. So just keep that in mind when packing. Either leave room in your carry-on, although this is not a tip, but I just thought of it. I don't suggest, if you can put as many of your bags in as many of your products in your checked bag on the way home, that is very beneficial, because all those canisters of powder give TSA heart palpitations, and it slows down security. So to make your time faster, check your products in your bag if you're checking a bag. And then just another little logistics that we didn't write down that I was thinking about today is, if you've never used the Isogenics Events app, make sure you download that app and then download the celebration piece of it, because there's tons of information on there. It's such a great resource if you think or you don't know where something is or when it is and you can't find a post in a Facebook group. That's an awesome resource. Yeah, people are asking about bags. For a while, they would give backpacks to us at the event, and then at the last one, they just gave like a canvas bag. I think they were trying to be more environmentally friendly, because I think a lot of us were getting an abundance of backpacks. So we don't know what they're doing this year as far as a backpack bag type thing.
Okay. Next one, network with everyone. So whether it's the people on your team, your friends, your smaller team, your larger team, people you don't even know, you'll never know who you're going to meet and who you might connect with, who you could possibly collaborate with. There's all sorts of opportunities. Like, everybody there also likes to network. So it's going to be, in a way you can look at it as, if you feel like you're somebody who maybe struggles with talking to people you don't know, this is like the perfect opportunity to practice that. There's no pressure, because they're already in Isagenix. Like, you can just talk to people, just practice those skills, and, just be yourself and be real, and you'll never know what kind of connection you might make there.
Yeah, and to add on to that, if you're in the elevator with like Lynn Hagedorn, don't be afraid to talk to her. Like, don't let those people that you think are kind of up on a pedestal intimidate you, because they're more than happy to talk to you. And some of those connections will be super powerful in your business. I ended up networking with Jimmy Smith's granddaughter, and she and I are really good friends now, and like we support each other, and it's just such an awesome connection to have. So don't ever be intimidated by someone because of their name tag. Number 5, kind of back to the product thing, bring products with you. It will save you time and money and energy by having products with you. If you're a person that needs a blender, maybe coordinate with your roommates who should bring a blender, and then you can all bring your own individual cups. That works really well. One of the things that I think it was initially Mary. Yeah, she brought these really awesome individual like French press mugs. We use those at NYKO. Those were amazing. So if you're a coffee person, that's a great way to make your Isagenix coffee portable too, since most hotel rooms don't have like regular coffee pots anymore. Yeah, and we'll talk about lunches in a little bit too.
The next one, so the social media thing. So kind of 2 things. You can use this opportunity to do some lives on your social media, which can kind of help create that curiosity of like, where are you? What are you doing? What is this awesome thing you're doing? Heidi when we were talking about this point, Heidi's like, video is the interest point currently, it seems like, on social media. So use that to your advantage. However, the caveat is, don't go crazy on social media. Don't be posting like 15 times a day about, oh my God, this is so exciting, and kind of just barfing all over your page the whole weekend when you're there and getting people to tune you out right away. So do it a little strategically, do it intentionally, take some time to, you might want to take a lot of photos and maybe some short videos that maybe you can put together as a story, later that afternoon when you have time to think about it. But definitely use this as something that you can help create that curiosity of, what is Isagenix? Who are all these really awesome, fun people that you're hanging out with? And why do you get to go to Nashville and go to a giant party? So kind of use that.
Yeah, and then in addition with that, with posting in Facebook groups, both product and business, don't wait for just your leaders to post in there. Like if there was some speaker that really resonated with you and there was like a certain line that you feel is going to be pivotal for you and your business going forward, don't keep that to yourself. Share that nugget, in the business groups. It's not just up to, your leaders to be posting in those groups. Sometimes you're going to hear something that they didn't hear that a lot of other people need to hear from you and your voice. So don't be afraid to be putting those nuggets into the group too. And I would say too, for social media, utilize your stories a little bit more, but then as far as like posting on I think that's kind of how people have been going anyway. But I think it's just coming out of big events, people get really excited and their social media goes from maybe not much to like every post multiple times a day being about isogenics because you're just so excited. But it can be a little overwhelming to your audience if you haven't been talking about isogenics that much. All right, number 7 is seating. So we are not in Bridgestone Arena for those of you that were there last year. I am a little disappointed. I know a lot of people are glad we're not in Bridgestone, but I liked the tiers. Anyway, it is a big event, so make sure you're leaving time to, get into the building and all the things. But especially on Jake's behalf, we're going to have a little discussion about saving seats. So know that it's going back to my number 1 point, that you can do whatever works best for you. Like Allison and some of her team, like they love to get there like right. Like if the doors are opening at 8 o'clock, they'll be in line at like 6:30 so that they can like run to the front row. And I'm like, peace out. I will be there. Like I'm not late for the event. I have my butt in my seat before the event starts. But for me, I don't care if I'm in the 12th row. I'd rather have like a really great view of the screen because I can see better than being in the front. But I'm not showing up, a half hour before the event starts and looking for Jake and expecting that he's going to have a seat for me that he's been standing in line for since 6 a.m. So you pick whether you're going to wait in line for your own seat at 6 a.m. or if you're going to get there before the event starts and sit wherever you can find a seat.
Okay. All right. Well, once your butt is in your seat, try to be present when you're there. So even though we were just talking about like, using social media and maybe doing some lives, on the same time, try to stay off your phone. So don't be, scrolling Facebook during that time. It's really tempting. I felt like this way at NYKO is to like, there's so much good content to like try to take photos of like these slides and things that look really interesting and you're so pumped up about them. But in reality, like, are you really going to do anything with that grainy photo that you can't see anything with? If you're going to take photos, really think about like, are you really going to use them? Number 1. And 2, are you getting the most out of your experience from behind your camera, or is it better looking and listening and just taking it all in? And that being said, so your phone, right? So don't forget a charger. Maybe a portable charger. Heidi had a good tip. If you put your phone on airplane mode, if you can do that for like a little while, it'll save battery life a lot. Or even the battery saver mode. So like at least on iPhones, there's a screen you can swipe over to put it kind of on low power mode, just to preserve, because we know how long that goes. So a couple tips with that.
All right. Where am I next? Okay. So piggybacking off that with being present, and I kind of touched on this before, try not to miss a session. Like if you had to schedule a flight to get home for your daughter's christening, like, okay, I understand. But don't skip out just to go hang out at the pool or because you were up late drinking. Everyone's paying a lot of money and sacrifice time with their family and their jobs to be there. And while all of those things are a lot of fun, you're going to get the most out of it when you're actually in the event. And yes, you can watch the recordings, but it's not the same as being there and listening to it yourself live. Fit in, if your number 2 priority behind getting great content is to be by the pool, then skip some of the other socials and sit by the pool instead. Like sacrifice some of the other social things to do what's important to you outside of the event rather than sacrificing the event to do those extracurricular activities.
Then going back to when you're in the session. So if you're a note taker or even those photos, you got to do what works for you as far as like getting that content into your head and retaining it and how you best learn. So if you're a note taker, once again, just pay attention to what are you going to do with those notes. Heidi had a good tip where she will, and correct me if I'm wrong how you do this, like you take your note and then you mark it as things that are like actionable items, like you highlight it some way, like you put an A or something, right?
Yeah, I put an A by it. And I think it's John Maxwell has a whole like ACT system. That to me, that was still too complicated. Like I want an A by all the things that I know I want to implement. And I like while I'm taking my notes, I just put an A by it right away and circle it so that when I'm on the plane or that night in the room, I can, pare down my notes to those things that I know I want to implement.
And then the one thing too, I felt like was so helpful at NYKO in our hotel room in the evenings was we would take a few minutes to kind of chat about what our takeaways were, like what really stood out to us. And I think that's really important. Like, when it's fresh in your mind, if you can somehow get together with your team or some people or, the larger team to do that, just to take a little bit of time and go over it. I think that'll go a long way. I still remember things that we talked about in that hotel room that night. So
yeah, that was my first time doing something like that. And it was very helpful to hear what other people took away and just like Becca said, to reinforce things. So another logistical thing, we shouldn't have to deal with security this time because we're not in Bridgestone. So there shouldn't be any issues of like the whole not isogenics products, water, like all that stuff shouldn't be an issue. But just know that Nashville's gonna be really busy. I don't know the exact number this year, but if you've never been to Celebration before, there's like 15,000 people-ish. So taking Ubers and, going someplace for lunch and waiting in line, like everything takes longer. So make sure to plan for that. And Becca had a really great tip that a lot of times what happens is we, have this hour and a half for lunch and then you get with your group and you're like, okay, where should we go? And then you look at a map and you decide where to walk and then you get there and you're like, oh shoot, there's already a really long line. So you go over there and by the time you actually get to where you're going to eat, you need to be back in convention. So if you can plan with whomever you're eating with that day, like, okay, what are we going to do? Today, are we just going to go back to the hotel room, get a shake and be quick? Or are we going to pick out a lunch spot ahead of time so we can make a beeline straight there when we're let out and then get our food and come back? I don't know if anyone knows if they're doing it this year. Last year, there was one day where they closed down the street and they had food street vendors, which was awesome. So hopefully that's something you can look forward to if you were not there last year, but I have no idea if that's happening. We'll hope so because it was very cool.
And then when you get home, so taking some time to talk with your family or your significant others because you're going to come home excited and have a big list of things you want to do and the time that you need to do that. So talking to people at home about those expectations, maybe on your way home, even on the airplane, kind of planning a little bit of that out into your calendar so that you can figure out how you're going to work your business and be realistic about it. Don't be like, okay, I'm going to come home and I'm going to need 40 hours a week to do this. If you have a full-time job and family, like be reasonable about that.
And I mean, it really, really helps. This is the first time I've seen them, really push out a lot of the 90-day action plan stuff ahead of the event. So that should really help with this post kind of celebration. Like you're super excited and you have all this content, plus you're trying to plan the next 90 days. And there was just always so much like chaos coming out of it that I felt like I didn't have my ducks in a row until like 2 weeks into the 90-day action plan, which is kind of wasting time. So really take the next, it's 2 weeks technically until the action plan starts, which we'll talk about in a minute. But really be planning out what celebration is going to look like during that time. Like tonight I was going through my calendar and like blocking in school time, when the girls are in school and what their activities are. And, so I can be planning my isogenics events around when I have to be present as a parent. So start working on that stuff now so that post celebration, you can just be going over your notes and really like getting into action instead of the get ready stuff post celebration. And then lastly, I did post what to wear today. That was from the Isogenics Events app, so that's a great place to reference it if you need it. But just a note on that, wear what's going to make you feel comfortable and empowered. You're going to see a wide variety of stuff. And if you feel like a rockin' badass in a pair of yoga shorts or yoga shorts, I don't know, maybe people wear yoga shorts, Well, if it's yoga wear or it's a pencil skirt and pumps, like I remember one of my first events, it was like Isogenics Day, and so most people were wearing like, I think I had jeans and flip flops, and I met Kelly Dickerhoo for the first time, and she had a pencil skirt on and pumps, and I was like, is that what I'm supposed to be wearing? And she was like, when Mama's away from home, Mama wears a skirt, and I was like, okay. So just do what's comfortable for you. You want to, feel professional and have that right energy. So don't show up in like pajamas, but do what's going to feel best for you. And also along that line, ladies, keep footwear in mind. I used to wear heels all the time at events, and then I started carrying my heels. And now this year I'm like, maybe I just won't bring my heels. So think about that with like the gala. You might want to bring flip-flops with, because you still have to walk to and from the gala. So anyone that's a newbie or a returning person that has either like a quick question or a quick tip that we may have missed, because obviously there's so many things to think about and plan for. Start packing early. Try not to wait until midnight the night before your 6 a.m. flight. I mean, unless that works for you.
I would say make sure I like to bring the products that I care about every day. Like make sure my vitamins, my Isamine spray, my sleep spray, Ionics, like whatever it is that you need. Of course, shakes, like I do packets. So just making sure that you feel really fueled and that you're taking care of your body, along with your mind throughout the event. That's like, I think of it as like, I'm just going to really take care of myself, especially leading up to it. And then it's like game on, and you can do anything for like 4 to 5 days. So, or really 3, I guess it's like 3 days officially. So, yeah.
One other tiny thing that happened to me once and won't happen again is a lot of times people bring like old backpacks and things that they've gotten at Isogenics events, and they all look very similar. So if you have like a little like paper clip or something that you can put on yours, I've grabbed the wrong one before. I've had someone grab mine on accident before, and it's unintentional, but it can be frustrating if you've got like your phone in there and your other stuff. You just don't have your things with you. So either keep yours on you at all time or be able to identify it in some way.
That's a good tip. Awesome. I'm excited.
It's going to be so good, you guys. Yes, shots every night, right, Barbie? And yes, that's what she said. Shots, of course. Luggage shakes on everything. Yeah, like whatever. Yeah, can you hear me? It says I'm unstable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Awesome, you guys. Okay, thank you, ladies.
Yes, thank you so much. And now we're just going to jump into some of that bonus content on this amazing Monday. So we're going to kind of talk about, I know Heidi alluded to the 90-day game plans or the Isolate Success Plan or the 90-day sprint. It goes by a lot of names. And she did mention that some of that stuff is rolling out a little sooner, and we're really excited about that. And that's why we wanted to have this extra time here on the call. So one of the reasons why this is really important, and this comes out every year around Celebration, it's something along these lines. And it's really just to create massive action. So what the whole company is doing is everybody's getting behind this 90 days and we're sprinting. It's all about action. It's all about getting things done in a short, compact period of time. And the reason this is so successful is that when you're running together with your people in Isogenics, there's this, we hear it all the time, pain tolerance in a group is much higher than it is by yourself. So what we're really trying to do is get everyone aligned together, and we're all running at the same time. There's going to be, and Allison's going to talk about kind of how this is going to work, and there's a bunch of different things going out there. But we have really noticed, and even kind of looking back on our business, when we get these larger surges and people are rank advancing and enrollments are up and everything like that, it's during periods like this where everybody is working together. That's when you see, if whatever your goal is, if your goal is 3-star, what are we going to do? So we're looking at this plan, and the first thing you're going to do is get to executive. And if you've already hit executive, you're going to get to executive and say executive. And it's really about getting down to the nitty gritty and planning out your 90 days and really making that sacrifice for those 90 days and holding yourself accountable to other people for those 90 days. Because we just had summer. And some people, were pushing during the summer, and that's great. But sometimes summer, there's no judgment, but sometimes it can feel a lot of things are happening. There's lots of travel. Kids are home. I don't have as much time to focus. Like, this is just that time to get yourself laser focused. We're going into celebration. We're going to be coming out and we're going to be getting ready to roll this. And it doesn't matter what your goal is. Your goal doesn't have to be, in this next 90 days, I'm going to go from manager to 8-star. Like that's not what this is necessarily about. If your goal is to get to executive, your goal is to make 6 figures, to be 3-star, like great. Like this is that thing that's really going to help launch you there, because we're going to get this big swell of momentum and everybody running together, and we're all going to be there with you. Allison is going to kind of talk more about how this is going to work. And if anybody hasn't heard, in the Isagenix business group, Lindsay Hofber did a live talking about this today. And, if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. There's going to be more information coming out on Isagenix Business all the time, but really stay plugged into that, because that's going to help you going forward with this.
Yeah, so instead of the company doing weekly scheduled calls, they're just putting them in the business group, which is awesome, because then you can go watch it on your own time. That, I would say, there's a bit of a double-edged sword there, because sometimes when it's a recorded video, you say you'll watch it, but you never go back and watch it, right? So whereas if it's a set scheduled call, maybe you block your calendar. So my tip for you with that is, if you're one of those people who knows you'll watch it every Monday, put it on your task list for Monday. That's great. If you need to, just schedule it. Say every Monday at noon, I'm going to watch this. Or, however you need to. I'm switching my Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Are we cutting out? A little bit?
No,
We're
okay.
good? Okay.
It keeps telling me I'm on.
It keeps telling me I'm unstable.
Okay, so
awesome.
We're good, I think.
Yeah, so like Allison was saying, like if you need to build it into your schedule, maybe Thursday is a really calm day for you, where you can sit down and schedule that time to go in and watch it every Thursday if you need to.
Yeah. And so for this entire time frame, the company is running together. And Isagenix literally has content already planned out through November for you in a very strategic way. Connecting comes first, and then inviting, and then doing presentations, and then enrolling and rank advancing, and they line it up in these 30-day segments. And there's a lot of power. Jake said pain tolerance is higher in a group. I would say joy and fun is also higher in a group. You don't have to think of it as painful. Bravery is bigger in a group. The best times that I have had in this business are when I'm running together with people, whether they're financially tied to me or not, but we're like all rowing in the same direction, and we're rowing this boat and we're making it happen. And so I'm really going to go into the how right now. I'm going to go into the how. So first things first, I would say is, and we'll talk through specific nitty-gritty dates, but to figure out, have a conversation with your mentor, whether it's another person on this team, someone not on this team, not on this call, an accountability partner. If it's Jake or me, we are more than available for this. You know that. And figure out what your goal is. And I would say stretch yourself. Stretch yourself on your goal. Your mentor can help you do that too. I know when Barbie went to 2-star and 3-star, she was like, I don't know, maybe I can do it. And I was like, you can. So it's okay to borrow belief from others as you're doing this. And to be, if I know your dreams, so many of you have told me your dreams, I will forever hold on to your dreams, and I hope that you always do too, and you don't lose sight of them. If your dreams are a full-time income, or to be six-figure earner or beyond, to max out your business, first step is run to executive. Get to executive, and then if you've already run to executive, get back to paid as executive if you're not there, right? And then teach others to do the same. And tonight's not really like the how-to or the skill building, but just be thinking about that. I just want to make sure you're not selling yourself short by saying, oh, I'll get to manager, but really on your vision board is a 6-figure earner. It's like, no, now's the time to push, and now's the time to work together, and now's the time to go braver and bigger than you ever have. Because if you really follow the system and follow this plan, executive should be on your radar, can be on your radar, will be on your radar if you're committed, coachable, taking that daily action, learning the skills along the way. It will come with bumps and bruises. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't come without bumps and bruises. For sure, you will have moments that you feel like you are going to fall flat on your face. We all have. I don't think anyone achieves anything massively successful in life that gives them that life of freedom that you're talking about or posting about on social media without bumps and bruises. It just doesn't happen. So buckle up and be prepared for that. I do want to make sure I say that. Next would be pick your 5. So pick your 5. Gretchen just hopped on the call and she was instrumental in talking about this. So I'm glad. Hi, Gretchen. There's your face. Pick your 5 to run with. Kathy Hoover says it all the time. Work with 5. Find 5 people to work with. If you're in the business of identifying those 5 right now, you're working on enrollments and finding consultants, that's great. Do it. You don't have to feel like you have 5. Maybe you have 1. I would rather run with 1 than drag 100 people. I promise you running with 1 is better than dragging 100 people. So do that if you need to, but if you can find 5, if you have people popping up in your organization, anywhere on your left, anywhere on your right, find them and link arms with them. You know, one of the most successful seasons in our business, we linked arms with Barbie, Heidi, Gretchen, Sherry Steiner, Kelly Skoog, Naomi Williams. Again, you'll recognize in this business, some of those names you don't see all the time anymore. That's okay. It doesn't matter. They ran to 2-star, 3-star, different, executive, different ranks, different things. That's just a part of, and timing. And I never say someone's gone forever. Other people tell me, I always say they'll be back. And yes, that's okay. But that time frame, that camaraderie, that swell of excitement and momentum, pick your 5. You don't have to go and find 100 people to rank advance, but who are those people that you're going to really link arms with? And you can talk with your mentor or any of us about what that really looks like. Yes, Danny Leverson, you have done an awesome job of that this year. I've seen you. And that's after a few years of product using, product sharing. She really stepped it up this year. It was so cool to see. Okay, and then align your weeks. The saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? We're going to go over the weeks in a minute here. That'll be the nitty gritty right at the very end. But align your weeks. And this means, I literally have the calendar now through December with question marks in areas, plus January. I already have the New Year's kickoff dates for January in my calendar. So we won't be scheduling a birthday party on those dates. We won't be scheduling a family vacation on those dates. Because this is our business. This is what we do aside from also all the fun things that we do that we fit it all in together, sort of like a Tetris jigsaw puzzle, right? But, align your weeks. Think of what is it that I'm going to do. And Isogenics, again, if you haven't watched Lindsay's thing yet today, it was awesome. She literally walked through, this is a connecting week. This is a your ideal life week. And during that week, if corporate's saying it's a your ideal life week, I would imagine corporate is going to, I don't know, I really don't know, but be rewarding people who are using that your ideal life week, right? Who are maybe scheduling a launch party or a sip and sample or connecting with people that live in your local area. We'll get into putting right in the chat, again, launch parties that are happening so we know where they are. Maybe there's one in Waconia at Barbie's that you want to invite your people to, or maybe there's one in the South Metro that Heidi and I are creating that you want to invite your people to, or wherever it is. And also knowing where people live. If there's something going on in Rapid City and you know someone there, it's awesome to invite them there, even if you're not there personally, right?
As the person who's like hosting the event, that does feel good too, to get connected and be like, hey, I've got a friend who wants to come. It gives that whole thing life and energy, and you don't know the kind of ramifications you have from that.
And it helps their event because there's more attendance, right? Mm-hmm. We all want to have a room full of people that we're presenting to. So if you can provide, don't ever feel like you're, bothering someone. If I'm having something at my house and someone is sending someone there, I'm like, awesome, that gives me someone else to talk to. Even if it's just that person, then I get to practice the story on that person and really pour into them and help them. And it always comes back like a boomerang, tenfold. So create your vision board, you guys. If you don't have a vision board, create it, put it up, put it everywhere. I've learned in this business, whiteboard markers work awesome on mirrors. You can write all over mirrors with them, and just have your information everywhere. And I would say, have your vision board. Gretchen, you could even show yours. I know you have your vision board right up in your office. You scan over to it. The things that you see, the things that you write down are the things that stay front and center even when times are hard. It's so true. Barbie's is right behind her too. I can see it. Yes, Barbie's is right there. See, she's got a cork board form. Gretchen has like a presentation poster board form. Those are good examples. I see Holly has a whiteboard behind her. I'm sure that's related to her drawing out the comp plan, or, you know, so just having the tools and being really prepared and organized and treating it as a profession. You know, I was talking to Teresa today. It's funny. And I was saying, you know, realtors send out a letter to me. I just got one today, literally after we talked. Hi, I'm a realtor now. I would love to earn your business if you ever need it. You know, I like explaining who she is. Like, you are a professional and you have this to offer. So just the way that you show up is so much of it, truly. And then I would say plug in and stay plugged in. The Isogenics business calls on Mondays. Some of you are doing mentoring programs. You know, Heidi and I are working together to create some awesome content with awesome speakers right on this call on Monday nights. If that's the thing for you, that's awesome. Whatever it looks like for you is great. Whatever is going to make you successful is the right answer for you. If your business is trucking and clucking and moving along, awesome. I would say the Isogenics business lives are for sure a priority because they're coming from the whole company. And then beyond that, whatever it is that you're working on, these calls will be standing along with the other things that I've heard are happening within the teams, which is just so cool. And you know, check in with your business group every day and your product group every day, right? And then a couple of hours a day matters so much more than starting and stopping, you guys. Like, it truly does. A couple of hours. If you're looking at the 90 days and you're like, okay, I'm going to tackle this, check, check, check. I get to put my head on my pillow, happy when I've done these things. That's what I look for every day, more than, oh, I put in 3 hours, or I put in 8 hours this day, or I did a marathon. You know, did I do these things today? Check, check, check. So, and we'll go into some of that with, you know, throughout the training. So really what I want to cover now is specific nitty-gritty dates. And so I'm going to share my screen. I have just 2 slides and they're beyond basic. If you know me, I would rather just get information to you than, you know, make them look pretty, because this is all that matters. So, okay, event dates. Again, these are already on my calendar, like non-negotiable, the things that I'm, you know, partaking in. The things that other people, so Danny and Corey Schaefer along with Gretchen are hosting a Super Saturday in Rapid City September 7th. Delray Messer is going, Brooke and Kenny Burnt are going, along with the local team there. If you have people anywhere in South Dakota, Colorado, you know, I literally will pull out a map and be like, who's near there? Who can I send there? You know, and just really work through that. And then the following weekend, we're going to have a Super Saturday in Minneapolis. I'm talking to Hayden Vavra tomorrow to nail down some things, but we have a network marketing professional, Todd Falcone, coming to town. He trained at the Up Level Summit a couple of years ago. So someone external to the company, but sort of like an Eric Boria, network marketing professional who's not with the company right now. He's coming to train along with Emily Vavra has committed to coming too. So we're going to have a really, really solid day that day. The exec retreat, our team's exec retreat is the following weekend. We would love to see you there. And if you're like, gosh, I'm not executive yet, like, really, it's not too late. Like, there's a month ahead of you. What can you do to make it happen, right? Like, if that's on your goals, on your plan, like, work through that and talk with your mentor and really get into massive action over the next month. I feel like, you know, I see people, especially with a lot of the people on this call, have a solid base of a team. It's like, or have run a manager or director. How do you make that final leap to executive? And then UIA in Washington, D.C., I put those dates. The previous weekend is in Toronto. I realize some people don't like to go international, but I just wanted to say, like, if those dates don't work for you, I know Teresa lives in Washington, D.C., but she has a wedding that weekend. And she's talking about going to Toronto, even though she lives in the town where the October one is. So, you know, just figuring out what works with your calendar. And then Barbie and I were talking today about some tentative team business training here in the Twin Cities in November. And I would say, what else? Maybe you don't live in the Twin Cities and you're like, oh, we need something. It is never too early to start creating this sort of thing for your team, for the local community. You can put it in isogenicsare.com, the associate run, if you want, and get other people. Just create, you know, when Julie Coughlin, who's a 6-star, started, there was no one in Milwaukee. So she just started creating events, even when she was maybe like a manager or director, you know, and was able to fill rooms eventually of 300 to 400 people. So just know, like, those are dates. And when we really talk about planning ahead, so much of it is just getting this stuff down on the calendar and saying, what am I committing to now, right? Maybe you have to take days off work, or maybe get babysitters, or whatever it is that, you know, helps you. Just know, like, we all think through those things. Okay, and then I have one more slide. So the 90-day sprint technically company-wide starts August 19th. We as a team, which aligns extremely well with the Your Ideal Life weeks that Isagenix has, have these weeks, and we're calling them rank advancement weeks, or promo weeks, or contest weeks, or whatever feels good to you. Though it really works, and it really makes sense to have a week that we all in our business, right? We have high weeks and we have lower weeks. We have high weeks and we have lower weeks. And sometimes that's created through a seasonal shake. Birthday cake, for example, did it for a lot of people. This actually aligns with birthday cake. What I mean by aligns with is that when people put in a big order, then they often push their auto ship out to 28, 29, or 30 days. So their auto ship naturally falls 4 weeks later. And so then that cycle of 4 weeks, and if you start, maybe you run to manager or director and you've started 8 people 1 week within your downline because of consultants created, their auto ship is going to be set 30 days later, 29 days, 28 days. So 4 weeks out, another high week. 4 weeks out, another high week. And I'm not saying that you want to, you know, forever and ever have these like high, low, like that can be draining. We want to look at the health of the business across the entire month. But when we talk about momentum, and we talk about rank advancing, and we talk about the swell of excitement, and, you know, really creating that time when you're going to go for your rank advancement, a lot of times those are the weeks when people hit 5-cycle bonus, 1-star, 2-star, things like that. And then they can build off 30 days later. It's like, okay, I know the auto ships are coming, and you can check in your business blueprint on the last page. You can see the BV that's scheduled in auto ships coming on your left side and your right side. You can literally calculate just what's on auto ships. The cycles always end up higher than that because some people place one-time orders. It doesn't account for enrollments. People shift their auto ships. Mine always add quite a bit to that. But you can see if you start to track, as any business owner does, right? Gym owner would track memberships. They would track what weeks are good. They would track all of it. A coffee shop owner would track times a day, and, you know, just think about it. How do I track this? Do I know my numbers? Do I know my business? These are the weeks that we have together created, and it lines up with Isagenix. So September 2nd to 8th, meaning Sunday the 8th. If you want to run for manager, that's a great day to do it. Or director or executive, that's a great day. I will tell you, on rank advancement days like that, I make sure, like, maybe I don't plan you know, Sunday brunch with my parents and my sister, because I know I'm going to have to be focused on other stuff, right? Like actually planning, like, okay, what do I have September 8th, October 6th, 30 days later, November 3rd, December 1st. The cool thing about our cadence here, it aligns with Black Friday. That lies right in that November 25th to December 1st. And then December 23rd to December 29th is great for, you know, Christmas happens, and then people are ready to put in orders the 26th, 7th, 8th, 9th for maybe a New Year's challenge or whatever it is that you're doing. And then we will continue this into the new year with some very exciting things for 2020. So that's kind of how that works. I want to see if people have questions. Hopefully you took a screenshot of that. I will check the chat because, I think, okay, a couple things. Good. Any questions, any comments, anything anyone else would add? I'm trying to think. I think that's pretty much, you know, and there's I know I missed other dates, other events. I'm sure in Arizona there's Super Saturdays. Bettina, you're on. I know Chelsea has her team there. We have a ton of people in Arizona at this point. So, you know, isagenixare.com, you can search your state, you can search your city, and figure out the other things that are happening. So yes, I agree. I love having it all before celebration, because coming home, like, it's going to be a whirlwind. Who on here is it their first celebration? Raise your hand. Or virtually raise, or put it in the chats.
iPhone said me.
Yeah, couple.
Brenda
Yep,
did.
Brenda did. Becca. Yep. I know. Bettina. Yep. Oh, she's unmuting her video because I know it's her first. I know we have a ton of people. I know Alex, Kristen. Is it Kristen? Were you there last year? No. Yeah, her first. Jamie's first. Yep. So you're gonna go and you're gonna leave and you're gonna write out that vision sheet. I know it at the end. The vision sheet. Visualize. I will do this. What do I want? Okay, and then it's like, okay, I'm gonna get home and get into massive action. One tip I would add to what Heidi and Becca said, use the plane time. If you're flying a flight that you can get Wi-Fi, use the plane time on the way home. I do it every time to get online and plan. Or if you can do planning offline, maybe you write a bunch of texts out. I will write texts and just not send them. And then when I go back into my phone, it's like I just send. You can do that.
Same thing with pictures. If you've got a bunch of pictures you wanted to use, use the editing time. That's no date at all.
Yeah. So, there's so many ways you can use that time. Or I remember Barbie coming home with Paul from an event, and she's like, we talked the whole way home about our dreams and our visions and our plan and how Isogenics as a vehicle is going to create, so maybe you're going with a significant other and you're going to use the time home to decompress and get clear, and then incorporate your kids in your, one of ours is standing here, in your celebration of rank advancements or whatever, your success. Maybe you come up with things together as a family and really talk about it. So anything anyone else would add? I know Heidi, Barbie, Gretchen were in on some really great pre-chats prior to this with me. So kudos to them. Major shout out on really, making this happen. I know Gretchen, we started talking about it a few weeks ago. So thank you for that.
One other tip that I just thought of, if you have people that you wish were going with you, that you wish were sitting in the seats with you this time, the beginning part of, I believe, Saturday is going to be broadcast free to everyone.
Yep.
I believe I said
Sunday.
Sunday. And they're going to announce new products and do things like that. Don't be hesitant if they're not enrolled, even if they're not even using the products yet. Even the people who are using the products and you wish they were there with you, let them know that so they can get a little sneak peek of what this is going to look like what this event is looking like. They'll get a couple of hours worth of that kind of stuff. So don't be afraid to do that and start planning your team, whoever you have in your group going with you, doubling it for next year. It's never too early to give people a little taste.
Yeah, my first Isogenic celebration, I literally went home and said, I will bring 100 people with me one of these years. And I know I said the reports, there's unassigned tickets, but our reports show 100 tickets out there right now, which is cool. I know it's probably more like 70 to 80, but put that, I'm just telling you, I created big audacious dreams. It's I want you to, that's how this stuff happens, right? Alongside action. Isogenicslive.com. Right here, the details are already out there. It says tune in for free, 4 to 7 p.m. Central Time. So anyone, isogenicslive.com. Okay?
One note to add, Jake said something that I feel like a lot of people should implement is if there are people that you wish that were sitting next to you at this event, tell them that. I remember Allison and I went to every single event, and there was one event that I didn't go to, and she reached out to me. It was probably in the evening, but she was like, hey, just thinking about you, really wish you were here. And I was like, oh, I really wish I was there. So just even getting that one-on-one message to those people and telling them that you wish that they were here and that you miss them, trust me, they will have FOMO by seeing you out there on social media, but making them feel like you wish they were there, having that special one-on-one reach out is goes so far. So I just encourage you all, if there are people, write their names down in the back of your notebook and send them the message after the event so you can pay attention. But I know that goes so far when you reach out to them personally, because that they will be having FOMO.
That's a great tip. And I even do it sometimes right from the back of the room or right when I leave, when you feel this extra level of bravery or something. You're like, okay, I'm just going to send it tonight, instead of waiting till you get home. Just do it. Cool. Gretchen, anything? Heidi, anything?
Yes. Well, I will say, so this whole thing initially came about because of rank advancing, because when we all have momentum together, and maybe you talked about that, Allison, before I hopped on, but like that is like the point of all of this, is just to like rank advance all together. And you know, when you see that on other teams and you're like, dang, like I want to be with them. It's like, it is so much more fun to rank advance all together. So if you're at manager, you're helping people hit consultant. If you're at director, you're helping people hit manager, and you're helping people hit consultant. If you're at executive, you're doing all of it, you know? So like just that momentum of us all rank advancing together, like just keep that on your forefront. Like, who can I rank advance? Like Emily Vavra says, like every week, who can I enroll? Who can I rank advance? Like rank advance, rank advance, rank advance. Like just keep that as like your train that you're not getting off, right?
Such a good point. Yes. Beautiful. Okay. Anything else? Last words. We did it in 52. Okay, you guys.
Have a good night, everyone.
If
Hope
we
to see you in
won't see you,
Nashville.
log in. We hope to see you in Nashville. We cannot wait. Bye, guys.